This new industrial journey means that builders must buy technology, lots of technology. And if there's one place above all others for this, it's Silicon Valley.
Alors, San Francisco, la Silicon Valley,
San Francisco, Silicon Valley, California in general, represents a quarter of the world's venture capital.
Le capital risque mondial.
This is an area where there's already a web of creativity, engineers, and capital to finance the engineers and their ideas, which is already substantial.
Considérable.
The second characteristic of California, and especially San Francisco, is that people like to try things out. Someone who brings an idea to the table can immediately tell if it's going to work. And if it's going to work, well, it's bingo. He can take it to the entire US and then the rest of the world.
And thus it's in California that the first self-driving car was seen, the Google car. And the car's father, the brilliant engineer Chris Urmson, a graduate of Carnegie Mellon University's prestigious robotics lab, is also very clear about the philosophy behind the project.
For the last 130 years, we've been working around that least reliable part of the car, the driver. We've made the car stronger. We've added seatbelts. We've added airbags. And over the last kind of decade, we've actually started trying to make the car smarter to fix that bug, the driver.
93% of car accidents are the result of human error. Autonomous cars would be 100 times safer than you. Google has a dedicated subsidiary, Waymo, having already logged 3.5 million kilometers. Famous for its search engine, the American company is a symbol of the world's digitalization. And after the record, the book, shopping, the car is up next. But will the behemoths of the traditional car industry let go of their piece of the pie? A market that may soon represent 100 million brand new cars sold each year. Will they too allow their market to be disrupted? Maynard Holliday served as special assistant to the Undersecretary for Defense under the Obama administration. He is now a senior engineer for the RAND Corporation, one of America's most influential think tanks.
There are going to be winners and losers depending on the investment and decisions a lot of these car companies make. And so you can look back on a lot of markets that have been disrupted. And so you think about digital photography. You know, Kodak owned the film business and actually had patents for, you know, digital sensors, but were very comfortable in the film business. Sony, because they owned a record label, could not see themselves doing something like iTunes. So they got disrupted.
Being disrupted by Google or Apple is the worst nightmare of Carlos Ghosn, Renault-Nissan's CEO. While under threat from the digital economy's leaders, traditional automakers are also competing amongst themselves. In the spring of 2016, two self-driving models from the Chinese make Chang'an crossed the 2,000 kilometers between Chongqing and Beijing. Today, car makers are investing more in research and development than the pharmaceutical industry. The big winners of this gold rush are the makers of the key technology of the autonomous car, starting with the digital sensors that will take the place of the driver's eyes. It's common to come across test cars along California's roads. They're recognizable from the strange instrument attached to their roofs. It's a lidar, made up of thousands of laser beams that measure the distance from nearby objects, up to 3 centimeters precision. In expectation of the autonomous car's popularity, the lidar business has truly soared.
One of the challenges is you want to see all the way around the car so you can see these other traffic coming towards our car. And sure enough, if you look at the lidar screen, you can see all the cars around us. So when these cars are merging, you're not going to hit something in the lane next to you because you can't see off to the side. That's the advantage of 360-degree visualization of the environment. And so essentially, lidar is the eyes of the robot.
The Velodyne LiDAR company has become the world leader in the field, with its offices in San Jose at the heart of Silicon Valley, in a hangar as immense as the company's ambitions.
We're just starting the autonomous revolution right now. So today on the marketplace, people are putting hundreds of cars onto the roads. In the future, that will be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of vehicles. So it's important that we have the manufacturing capacity to support that expansion.
For now, LiDARs cost $10,000 each, but the price should come down.
Our lidars are mostly electronics, so they will follow the volume price curve. As we increase our volumes and the industry takes more products, we're able to flow through the product life curve. So these will be quite economical sensors when produced in high volume. Three-digit numbers are possibles, which we think could be in the next 3 to 5 years.
In this digital earthquake that is shaking up the car industry, Europe is also rushing to stay in the fight. In Berlin, the focus is on the autonomous car's other key technology, cartography. The three German makers, Daimler, BMW, and Audi, are working with the company here, one of cartography's leaders alongside Google Maps. The Frenchman Cyril Lehmann moved to Berlin to develop this new cartography technology.
It's a unique momentum right now. Technology, business model, maturity of the market, and maturity of the consumer. Everything is kind of like aligned at this point of time in order to achieve with this revolution.
42 years old, Cyril is part of this generation of engineers inventing the car of the future, having grown up around old-fashioned cars.
I can remind the first car when I was a child. I can remind about specific moment of our life when we were driving to specific location during holidays, enjoying this time with my family and sharing these unique moments in the car. So cars always be some kind of emotion for me, and it's still now. Talking with my son, I can figure out how much his vision of the automotive has changed regarding mine. And probably my son will directly jump in a world where a car will drive by themselves.
Cyril's software provides cartography, a sort of atlas that's much more precise than GPS.
If I'm just looking through the window, and if I'm looking this building, for instance, it was not existing a few years ago. So when we talk about an autonomous driving map, we need to update the map in real time. It's not a question of months, it's not a question of weeks, it's not even a question of days, it's a question of seconds. It's because we are living in a world in motion. You need to update the map in real time.
The challenge that cartography now faces is to know the traffic situation at that very moment, the jams, the road work, every change, so that the car's brain can make the right decisions. Billions of pieces of data collected through the car's own captors, already at work in the equipment of the cars of the three German builders. A sort of shared overview in real time. The autonomous car, as it's now being tested by automakers, has LiDAR eyes, a great GPS, knows how to drive on the highway, but can it drive as well as you or me? Most importantly, can it drive anywhere, even the most challenging places? Amongst the nightmare settings of international car makers is Paris, France's Place de l'Étoile. Arnaud de la Fortelle, a professor at Mines Paris and the University of California, Berkeley, is seeking to answer the question, how can we teach a car to drive on its own around this dangerous merry-go-round?
There, I start on the Place de l'Étoile. The light has turned green, the cars in front have started. I'm getting to the cobblestones and I need to deal with the other cars. To start off, I'm going to follow the cars, because that's the simplest. And here's a first scooter speeding at me, though I had the right of way. I'm overtaken from the left, which is normal, but I'm also being overtaken from the right, which is not normal. There's even a cyclist on Place de l'Étoile. Must be courageous. And the machine is going to have to handle all of these challenges. The autonomous vehicle is going to have to be able to drive in a place where a certain number of the rules that he was given as strict do not apply. Because the machine is binary. Either there is the rule or there's not the rule. So we're going to need to be able to explain to the machines that there are places where we are mostly in the rules and other places where we are mostly not in the rules. So here I'm approaching the Champs-Élysées. And I decide that I don't want to exit onto the Champs-Élysées by giving it another trajectory. You can see that the car's angle is not the same. The problem is that I still don't know if the other people understand what I want to do, so I'm going to look at them. I look very carefully at the cars on the right and the left to see if they understand. And that, since the autonomous car doesn't have a face for people to look at, is something that's not easy to figure out how to negotiate. So this takes the prize. We have a police car that's actually going against the traffic. That's absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine how an autonomous vehicle could understand the situation. But it went very well. You see that people are intelligent after all. That's what we call the social element of driving. Could an autonomous vehicle have done the same thing? I'm guessing that now, and even in 5 years from now, an autonomous vehicle would have stopped 10 times. Because it would have been afraid. Fear doesn't exist for a machine. But it would have seen a risk. And its way of coping would have been to stop, because of the risk of collision. It's going to learn. Nothing's lost. But it might have to go around the Place de l'Étoile 10,000 times in order to learn how the Place de l'Étoile behaves, and specifically Place de l'Étoile.
That's the key. These cars will improve their driving by covering as many kilometers as possible. And who drives the most kilometers? It's Uber, the ride-sharing service that has already disrupted the market for traditional taxis. It wasn't slow in signing up for driverless cars.